As a wildlife filmmaker, I've traveled to some pretty crazy places. I've been charged by rhinos, surrounded by a herd of elephants, walked the mangroves with man-eating tigers, all part of the game. It can sometimes get hair-raising and dangerous, but never boring.
God, I can feel them crawling all over me.
So if you're looking for some fun-filled adventure
Oh my God.
and a visit to some of the most exotic and exciting places in the world, then join me on my wild adventures. Okay, I'm ready. Open the cage. Roll camera. Action.
My goodness.
For any wildlife filmmaker, filming a tiger in the wild has to be top of their bucket list. I'm lucky that having grown up in India, I got many opportunities to visit and film at some of the more popular tiger reserves. But one of the most challenging and dangerous places to film has to be the mangrove swamps of the Sundarbans. Not many people dare to take up this challenge. Firstly, the chance of seeing a tiger in this inaccessible and hostile environment is actually pretty slim. There are no roads or drivable routes to get inside the jungle. Sundarbans is an archipelago made up of 102 islands spread over India and Bangladesh. Of these, 54 are inhabited by humans. The remaining are the tiger's domain. All you can do is get onto boats and cruise the narrow water channels, hoping to catch a glimpse of the tiger. Most people come back empty-handed. Secondly, these are specialized tigers. The only truly wild tigers left in the world, man has been unable to control. All other tigers have been penned into designated tiger reserves, and tourists can enjoy the thrill of watching them. Technically, these tigers are free to go wherever they want, but their every movement is tracked, and a huge army of forest rangers is constantly keeping an eye on them, which is essential to protect them from the poachers. But it does mean that the tigers in nature reserves have lost some of their freedom in the bargain. But the Sundarbans tigers are different. There is no managing them. They do not allow humans to set foot inside their domain. Even when the British colonized the rest of India, they could never clear the Sundarban forests to try and use the land for revenue generation. Over the years, these tigers have developed a fierce reputation of being man-eaters. There are regular reports of these tigers feasting on humans, and not many come out alive of these swamps. But when I did get an opportunity to try and film these tigers, I decided to go for it. So here I was at the age of 50-something, setting off to spend 6 weeks inside the world's most dangerous mangrove forest. Nothing could have prepared me for the crazy few weeks that unfolded. In order to maximize our chances of catching a glimpse of the tiger, we decided to stay on the boat rather than travel every morning from the hotel. I'd been prepared to rough it out, but the boat was something else altogether. Let's say, very basic. We had to carry our own ration with us and a cook who would prepare meals for the entire crew. You have to carry your own bottled water as well, since most of the water, even at the hotels, is not fit for drinking. And the landscape was nothing like I had seen elsewhere. Very desolate at first glance, muddy saline water with very little evidence of life. Then slowly, as we got used to it, we started spotting some wonderful and sometimes weird wildlife. Of course, everyone had heard about the saltwater crocodiles, but their size was a surprise. We spotted some amazing variety of birds, and the colorful kingfishers were always there. But there was no sign of the king of the jungle. We've been in the Sundarbans for almost 3 weeks now, and not a glimpse of the elusive tiger. Maybe our luck will change today. What really surprised me was the number of villages dotting the mangroves. In most cases, narrow water channels were the only dividing line between the tiger and human habitations. I wondered to myself, how did they feel about living right at the doorstep of the tiger? So I decided to explore some of the villages and talk to the people. The day I visited the village of Jamespur, there was a sense of anxiety among the villagers. Last night they had a visitor, the tiger. Pug marks at the edge of the village were the proof. A big meeting was called and the top forest officials attended. It was decided that for a couple of nights everyone needed to be vigilant. A night patrol was organized by the villagers. Forest staff undertook to patrol the coast at night. For me, this was such a scary thought. And all the chilling stories I had heard about the tigers sneaking away with their human prey in the dead of the night sent a shiver down my back. Thankfully, the next couple of days and nights passed off peacefully without any further night calls from the tiger. I quickly discovered that most of the water in the area was saline and unfit for human or agricultural consumption. Lack of irrigation facilities meant just a single crop can be harvested annually. Most of the homes were rather basic, but government schemes have started reaching these remote parts. Interestingly, during my stay, I witnessed a game of football among the local teams, sponsored by the Forest Department. Enthusiastic crowds gathered to enjoy the day's entertainment. Most of them were familiar with some of the leading international football stars.
Ronaldo.
Messi.
Unlike the rest of India, where cricket is the popular sport, we were in the state of West Bengal, where football is huge. Most people in this part depend on the forest to bolster their meager incomes. Fishing and honey collection are two such means. Despite knowing about the dangers of entering the forest, the villagers undertake these trips for two reasons. Firstly, they need the money, and secondly, their stoic belief. They offer prayers to the local deity Bana Bibi for protection. They believe that Dakshin Rai, the demon king, appears in the form of a tiger to attack and kill them. Banu Bibi can save them from this demon. A group of locals have decided to enter the forest the next day for collecting honey, and I want to accompany them. The night before the trip, they organize a song and dance performance to appease Banu Bibi and to pray for their safe return. Early next morning, we all set out for the swamps. This will be the first time that I will actually get to set foot on the mangroves. The last couple of weeks I have just been on the boat. This is one of the most inhospitable terrains. There are no roads, not even dirt tracks which could take you into the forest. Every step that you take is a huge challenge. You could either just sink through the swamp, or one of these pointed roots might just maim you for life. The villagers have undertaken this trip many times, and there is a quiet efficiency in their actions. Chanting prayers, they quickly head towards the tree with honeycombs.
Allah Allah. Allah.
But for me, this is a nerve-wracking experience. Once inside the thick mangroves, we will have nowhere to hide if a tiger crosses our path. There are no guards, no means of protecting ourselves, and no realistic chance of escape. Every time they step into the mangroves, they're taking a huge risk. This, after all, is the domain of the man-eating tiger, and he brooks no trespassing. But in the absence of any other options, they are forced to take this risk. The reward may be sweet, but the price sometimes is too high. Their fearlessness is inspiring and comforting. Yet I know the danger is prowling around the corner. The whole operation lasts less than half an hour. It was over and we head out to our boats. I'm relieved to have come out alive, but also disappointed at not catching a glimpse of the Sundarbans tiger. Over the next couple of weeks, I went back to cruising on my boat, desperately hoping for a glimpse of the tiger. A couple of near misses. Fresh bug marks of the tiger, which means he has visited this area very recently. My trip to the Sundarbans was almost over, and I had given up ever seeing the mangroves tiger. Then one morning, as we were cruising past a water point, there she was, a magnificent tigress named Sundari. Oblivious to our presence, she spent some time at the waterhole, drinking to her heart's content. I saw her one more time the next morning, swimming powerfully through the river towards the shore. What a stunning sight! It's an experience I will never forget. My wild adventures through the mangroves of the man-eating tigers. And yet, I live to tell this tale.